Hi there, my name is Igor and I'm professional Agile Coach. Welcome to Agile Fundamentals. Today, we're going to take one step deeper and we are going to talk about Scrum project in Jira in a nutshell. I'm going to walk you through several areas that you need to know in Jira, what is their purpose, and how you can benefit from them. Let's start from timeline. Timeline is, in other words, the roadmap in Jira. That's where we create epics. What are epics? Epics represents the large body of work. There's no written rule how long the epic should be and what epic actually is. But if you're looking from agile perspective, where you need to do something quickly, deliver the value, and get the feedback, I do highly suggest that epic is no longer than 6 months. Why 6 months? It's just enough time to learn something while doing the work, but it's not too long. So you can basically end up in creating a fluff or something that your end users don't want at all. I'm going to create epic just for the example and call it website enhancements for the front end. This is pretty straightforward. Yes, the title is a bit vague, but for your purposes and in your team, you're going to adapt the epics for your content and context. So you can basically understand what is the objective that you and your team needs to achieve. This epic in Jira is also a tangible stepping stone towards your bigger goal or your mission of your company or your team. You can have as many as you like. I personally don't recommend having a lot of epics and accumulating them. How much is too much? I don't have the number. But I personally think from my experience as a professional agile coach, more than 15 is too much. So you should look forward how you can close some epics or move them to done, of course, if they are done, before you start creating tons of them, the new ones. Now, when you know what epics are and that you can have as long as you want, or as much as you want, you can also add the timeline or basically the deadline. So as you can hear, if I hover on the timeline, the Jira is automatically changing the date for me. So I might say this epic is going to be from 1st of April till, I'm just going to drag and drop, till the 1st of June. And as you can see here, this purple color is helping my team and myself to transparently understand what is the start date versus what is the end date. And if you create another epic, I might call it refactoring the code, then you can also add another deadline. The one really interesting thing about these epics is that you can link one to another. When you link them, that means dependency. So one is dependent on another one, which means that you can't finish the second one if the first one is not done. How you can do that? Hovering on this timeline, or let's call it a deadline, there's a little dot that you can see just underneath that. Drag and drop that one to another one, and Jira will automatically link that for you. That means that they're dependent one on another. You can't finish refactoring the code until website enhancements are not done. Also, some important things to know about epics are that when you open a preview of the epic, you can of course scale this as you like because you can change everything in Jira when it comes to responsive. Every epic must have a description. What needs to be in that description? Well, I highly suggest that one of the most important thing is the purpose of the epic. And that explained in 5 sentences. No more than that. If you go deeper than that, that might be too much details. Remember, this is Agile Fundamentals, so you need to remain agile. Another thing that is really, really important for the epics is success criteria. That's the question, how do we as a team know that we hit the mark of this epic? That's basically the question when it comes to success criteria. I highly suggest this success criteria to be in bullet points, to keep it sharp, concise, clarified, and highly transparent for everyone. So this is basically how the success looks like for this one. If I say website enhancement for the front end, I might say many different things like about responsive, about look and feel, about the fonts, all these kinds of things. Again, you will adapt the content and context for your environment. There's many other things that we can talk about in epics as milestones. There is a bottom add, so you can add attachment, child work items, linked work items, and web link. Attachment is pretty straightforward. If you want to attach a document, Excel file, PDF, or anything like that that is relevant for this epic, you can just do it. Child work item is basically a task. So what is task now? Task is a tangible stepping stone that is helping you to achieve this epic. I could call them daily activities. In your team, there are also daily activities. Send an email, create a brief, call the agency, develop a functionality, fix a problem. All of them, they represent tasks. So now when you know how to create an epic, when you know how to add the deadline, when you know why you need tasks, how you can add attachment, I think now it's time for you to understand the details in these epics. Why do we need details in these epics? Well, it depends on the organization, but pretty much everyone is considering these details the same. So, assignee is the person assigned to this epic. If you're coming from Agile environment, then assignee, we don't assign people to epics. There's no teamwork if one person is working on one objective, right? So you would rather need multiple people to work on one objective. So that's basically the team. They're sharing the same objective and they're heading towards that objective, all of them. That's why we don't assign epics to anyone. They remain unassigned. But again, as I said before, it's fully flexible and you should adapt it to your environment. If you see the need that you need to assign to someone, just go ahead and do it. Labels are basically something that helps you to later on quickly search for specific epic or issue. These labels are created by just typing the label and pressing enter on your keyboard. So I can say here, label would be enhancements. And Jira will say, hey, this is a new label, and I will just press. So here I have labels called enhancements. So following me and where my cursor is, there is a status category, label, and epic. I want to go and say, hey Jira, please give me all the labels. And there's enhancement label. Pressing on this, Jira will filter this list for me, the list of epics, and show me only the ones that contain this enhancement as a label in them. There you go. There's only one. So if I go to refactor the code, go underneath the label and add enhancement. If I go to label again, enhancements, now we got two of them. Pretty straightforward. So labels can help a lot. For example, for the teams or the environments that I was part of, we use labels to quickly identify is something refinement, bug fix, service center, BAU work, strategic work, or something like that. That helps a lot to quickly get the list of things that we need to work on or that we need to move to done because we successfully finished that. Below the label, there's due date. Due date is already added because remember, I added this line here manually. If you don't like doing that way, you can just add the due date and the Jira will create this line for you, the visual. Team, it depends on if you have a team in Jira. Specific teams will use Jira in a specific way. If you really want to create a team and if you're an organization with 2, 3 or more teams, you can use this functionality. You can create different teams like marketing team, finance team, real estate team. And you can just select and say, hey, finance team is working on this epic. And all of them are accountable for that. And maybe that's where assignee fits in. Assignee can be a person who is a lead of that team. For example, the leader of the marketing team can be assigned because he would be the accountable for making sure that his team delivers this epic. You see, different environments will use epics differently. Besides team, there's the start date. Again, I added the start date here, so I don't have to add it on the right-hand side. Reporter would be the person who created that epic. In this case, that's me. You can change the reporter to someone else if you wish. Automation and Atlassian project, we're not going to talk about it now. Automation will be covered in some advanced training session about Jira, where you can see how you can automate pretty much anything and everything. For now, this is just enough for fundamentals. Thank you for watching this video about epics. If you find this interesting, follow me because I'm going to share more beneficial clips and tutorials only for you. So if you don't know how to use Jira, this is a perfect time and opportunity for you to learn that, so you can keep your team organized and maximize the value delivery. Thank you for watching and see you in one of other videos.